Welcome back to Soul Spirit Stories, the place where we bring you heartfelt tales that inspire, move, and remind us of the extraordinary moments hidden in ordinary lives. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and join our growing community that believes in the power of stories to heal, to teach, and to connect us all. Now let's dive into today's story. She never expected much when it came to love. Emily was a quiet soul, someone who enjoyed reading in the corner of her favorite coffee shop, who loved taking long walks under the trees when the leaves turned golden in autumn. Her friends always teased her for being too serious, too thoughtful, too reserved. In a world of dating apps and flashy first impressions, Emily simply didn't fit the mold. She wasn't the type to catch every eye in the room, but for those who really paid attention, there was something striking about her, a depth, a softness, a patience that was rare. One evening, her best friend Sarah told her about a blind date she had arranged. At first, Emily resisted. She had no interest in awkward setups or being paraded like someone's idea of entertainment. But Sarah insisted, promising it would just be dinner, nothing more, and that maybe, just maybe, it could surprise her. What Emily didn't know was that this wasn't really about finding her love. It was supposed to be a joke. The group of people who set it up thought it would be funny. The man she was supposed to meet, David, was known for being charming, confident, the kind of man who always had a crowd around him. His friends wanted to see what would happen if they paired him with someone like Emily, a woman they thought was too plain, too quiet, too different. They imagined David would laugh it off, maybe cut the date short, and then later tell stories about the odd little woman who had been matched with him. But life, as it often does, had other plans. Emily arrived at the restaurant first. She sat nervously, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear, scanning the menu, though she wasn't really reading it. She wondered if this was a mistake, if she should have trusted her instincts and stayed home. Then David walked in. He carried himself with ease, a natural confidence that filled the space. When his eyes landed on Emily, he paused. She wasn't flashy, she wasn't the loudest in the room, but something about her presence made him slow his steps. "Emily?" he asked, a little uncertain. "Yes," she said softly, standing to shake his hand. From the very first moment, something shifted. What was supposed to be a joke began to feel like something else. David had been prepared for an evening of polite conversation at best, perhaps even mild annoyance. But as Emily spoke, he found himself leaning in, intrigued. She didn't talk to impress. She listened. She asked thoughtful questions. She laughed, not the kind of laugh meant to win someone over, but a genuine, warm laugh that reached her eyes. As the dinner went on, David realized he was forgetting the plan. He wasn't supposed to enjoy this. He wasn't supposed to be moved. Yet here he was, asking her about her favorite books, her dreams, her childhood memories. And she wasn't trying to perform or pretend. She was just herself, authentic, real. At one point, Emily confessed, "I almost didn't come tonight. I thought maybe it would just be silly." David smiled, but inside he felt a pang. He realized suddenly what his friends had intended, and it stung. Not because Emily wasn't good enough, but because she was more than enough, and he hated that anyone could think otherwise. By the time dessert arrived, David knew he didn't want the evening to end. He suggested a walk, and Emily, though hesitant, agreed. They wandered through the city streets, the cool night air brushing against them. For the first time in a long time, Emily felt seen, not as someone's shy friend, not as the quiet one in the background, but as herself. When she finally went home that night, she lay awake replaying the moments. She reminded herself not to read too much into it. Maybe he was just being polite, maybe it didn't mean anything. But the truth was, David couldn't stop thinking about her either. The next day, while his friends laughed and asked how the date with the bookworm had gone, David didn't join in. Instead, he told them it was the best evening he'd had in months. His friends stared, confused. They had expected a funny story, not sincerity. They didn't understand what he had seen in her. But David didn't care. He knew they hadn't been paying attention the way he had. Days turned into weeks, and David kept reaching out. Emily, though cautious, began to trust that he was genuine. He didn't just send her messages late at night or call when he was bored. He remembered the little things she said. He brought her coffee the way she liked it, with a dash of cinnamon. He showed up for her in ways that weren't grand, but were steady, consistent. Emily found herself slowly opening up, sharing parts of herself she usually kept hidden. She told him about her father, who had passed away when she was young, about the way she still visited the old library where he used to take her. She told him about her fears, her insecurities, the way she often felt invisible. And instead of dismissing her, David listened. He saw her in those quiet confessions, and he cherished them. One evening, months after their first meeting, Emily asked him outright, "Why me? I know how people see me. I know I'm not the kind of woman men usually chase after." David looked at her, and for once, his confident charm faded into something deeper. "Because you're real. Because you make me feel like I don't have to perform, I don't have to pretend. With you, I can just be myself, and that means more than anything." That night, Emily cried, not because she was sad, but because for the first time, she believed she was enough. The story of their relationship spread quietly. The same people who had once set them up as a joke were now astonished. Some even mocked David, asking why he would choose someone like her when he could have anyone he wanted. But David never wavered. He wasn't looking for anyone. He had found the one. Years later, when they stood hand in hand exchanging vows, Emily remembered that first night, the nerves, the doubts, the hidden cruelty behind the setup. And she smiled, because what was meant to be a joke had turned into the love of her life. Their story became a reminder to everyone who heard it, that sometimes the most unexpected beginnings lead to the most beautiful endings. That kindness, depth, and authenticity will always outshine shallow appearances. And that real love doesn't care about the approval of the crowd. It simply finds its way where it's meant to be. So the next time you're tempted to judge someone too quickly, or laugh at another's expense, remember Emily and David. Remember that behind every quiet smile, every reserved demeanor, there might be a story, a soul, a heart waiting to be seen. And if you're lucky enough to be the one who truly sees them, you just might find a treasure that changes your life forever. Thank you for listening to this story on Soul Spirit Stories. If it touched your heart, share it with someone who needs a reminder that love often shows up in the most unexpected ways. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that warm the soul and lift the spirit. Until next time, take care of your heart and keep believing in the beauty of life's surprises.